think we're just gonna paint together. It's already almost 10, so I feel like another cozy painting session is in store. I just have to kind of clean all this up, and I'll be right with you. And I need some fresh water, and I need some paintbrushes. My sketchbook, my palette, which is a little bit crusty right now. I got my whole line gouache, and I'm gonna grab my basket, and we're gonna also be using some colored pencils with this as well. Where'd that go? Right. And with that, I think we're ready to get started. Except now I have to put the camera onto its final resting place for today. Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. I don't even know where to start really, because I haven't been here in like over a week. Yeah, I ended up in the hospital for a couple days, so I'm just slowly getting back into my routine. I took the last whole week off because I was trying to get back into my full-time job, and I couldn't muster up the energy to do both, so today is the first day that I am back in the studio after a brief, unexpected, and unplanned break. This has put me behind a little bit, but also kind of put me in a good place to reflect on what's been going on with my business, with my goals, and just really trying to hone in on what I want to do. And I think I'm starting to figure it out. And in this video, we are going to be doing some pages in this sketchbook. I started this sketchbook earlier this year. I am going to get my table all set up and pick a couple of pages, and we can just chat about the, what am I gonna do? I need to figure out what I'm doing, because I'm feeling kind of like I'm working towards, we'll get into it, you know, we'll get into it. So let's get into it. Five months ago, I recorded these pages from my sketchbook, and I thought this would be a good time for me to check in with myself and kind of see where I was 5 months ago and look at where I am now and see if there's any differences, good or bad, and learn from this and use it going forward as I'm trying to clear up what it is I would like to do and what goals I would like to try to reach. I've known for a long time that I really want to write and illustrate a book. I've gone through a lot of ideas in my mind and never really committed any of them to paper. When I bought this sketchbook, I bought it with the intention of filling it with illustrations that I could write short stories with and compile a book. And that's kind of what I'm working towards. However, I feel like I still have a lot to learn before I'm creating the paintings that I want to feature. So this sketchbook has been more of a learning environment for me to feel free to make mistakes, to explore with different mediums, learn to combine them together to create the types of images that I'm hoping to compile for this book. So there are some things that I have noticed about things I used to do a few months ago that I've learned since then not to do. And one of those things was that sometimes, and I still am practicing this, sometimes I don't mix up enough of a paint mixture to paint an intended area. So then I end up having to try to remix the same color, and I don't necessarily get it right. And in this case, end up with two different skin tones, as in the arms and the legs. And something else that I noticed that I have a tendency to do is to cling to one brush. Even if it's not the right brush, I will use that brush for the entire painting and never put it down. I didn't do that in this one because at some point I realized the brush that I had was not sufficient to make the tiny little details in the way that I wanted it to, and it wasn't designed to. So I kind of was forced to learn. So it's important to think about the tools that you're using when you're painting and make sure that you're using the right one to get the desired effect. This is from July. I drew her too big and she doesn't have the rest of her feet, but just experimenting with laying down washes. This is the original inspiration for one of my shirts, and what I started doing was kind of just making little sketches that I intended to come back to later on and paint. And this book is just like, there's a bunch of drawings in here that I would like to paint, and so that's the plan. I'm watching the Portrait Artist of the Year on YouTube right now. This palette's pretty gross. It's left over from my most recent painting. I'm sure a lot of the paint's still usable, so I'm going to try to reactivate. This is like my Pinterest reference sketchbook, so I use Pinterest a lot to find my inspo. Just put pictures together. Sometimes I put them together in my head, and sometimes I use my iPad to actually stitch stuff together when I feel like doing that. Alright. So now we're going to paint this. So I've been really into watching these art competition shows on YouTube. I mentioned I was watching Portrait Artist of the Year. And what is fascinating to me about the premise of these shows is that these artists are given a vague subject, a vague assignment, and 4 hours to paint in to complete it. And the work that they do in 4 hours is absolutely astonishing to me, and so full of expression, so full of life, and so different from the artwork that takes me weeks to make. And so it made me start to really think about who I am as an artist and what it is that I'm trying to say. And I feel like that is something that I am very much looking forward to exploring, is finding my creative voice and watching the progression of my art as it starts to emerge. And I think that that is probably gonna be the premise of my first book. And I'm really excited to see how that comes together. I still have no clue about all of the exact details, but it's just nice to kind of speak this into existence and know that this is what I'll be working towards over the next several months. So we have come to the last painting of this little series of paintings, and this was by far my most favorite to do. I feel like I'm finally starting to understand how to apply the paint and how I want the finished product to look, and definitely a lot more confident as I approach the page. All in all, I would say that I am happy with the progress that I've made over the last few months. Even if it is minimal, I'm glad to have made any progress at all. Oh my gosh. Oh, I just knocked my table a little bit. So it is 9:05 in the evening. I have to go to work in the morning, and I have to publish this video in the morning also. So I just realized I never said goodbye, and I wanted to take a moment to say thank you, and I'm glad that you enjoyed watching this video so much that you made it all the way to the end. So here are the pieces that we worked on in this video. I'm curious to know if you think that there is a difference in the quality of my painting from 5 months ago to 5 days ago. Personally, I think that it's more of a mindset change than a skill progression. Like, I think in some ways I'm a lot more confident, which can either go good or poorly depending on just really how it plays out. So I had, one of my paintings that I did earlier this week not really turn out the way that I wanted it to, but I got the experience of playing with paint and learning about consistency and all that stuff. It was valuable, Was it successful? No, but it was still valuable. So I think my mindset has grown in the last 5 months, which is, I think, very important as an artist. Building resiliency, knowing that you're going to fail, knowing that sometimes it's not going to look that good, and still being able to see the value in that. I think that's really important. And before I continue rambling, because I will, I'm just gonna go because I'm kind of tired and I really do have to finish this video, and I hope that you enjoy it and or enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I think I am done talking. I'm gonna go. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're not already. Okay, bye.